go over to James Pate. James, welcome to the CNC Auto Show. What can we help with?
All right, gentlemen. I'm glad the two of you are there today, both Aaron, of course, and now Thomas. I guess it's like double mint gum. Double your pleasure, double my chances of dialing in a little guidance here on a problem I've got today. So let's give it a whirl.
Okay, we're ready.
All right, here's the landscape. 2007 Crown Victoria with manual air conditioning. That is to say, 3 knobs, no digital readouts, no self-limiting door activations or temperature control. Car that doesn't get used much, and it seems like recently every time I go to get it and run it, it tortures me. So yesterday I went and got in it, and I immediately noticed that my heat wasn't coming out right away. Temperature gauge rose properly, got the car home, could feel heat up and around the box area. Car's operating temperature. So I went and got my stethoscope out, find out where the actuator is, and it looks like they've moved it from when an older car I had, and they put that rascal right at the top of the ductwork, right up underneath the top of the dash. So you can see it, you can just about touch it, but I'm getting no sound from it. I have 2 of these cars, and you can hear the door if your car's not running when you dial from the blue cold to the warm hot. But I even went further and put the stethoscope up on it to see if I could hear any movement in the device that actually moves the blend door. Mm-hmm. So no sound. Got the service manual out that I have. Checked the two fuses, and I say 2 because the owner's manual says fuse number 17. The service manual says 16, but I think the owner's manual is right. But I checked them both for continuity. They're both fine. Mm-hmm. So here's what I'd like to know. Do either of you gentlemen know whether the current scan tools with the in-depth capabilities that they have, would it go into this car to give a report on the performance of the actuator? Because apparently the digital EATC, they call it, which I have on another car, does give you a little feedback on board using the screen. I'm not going to get that with this one. Mm-hmm. Because this thing is in such a bad spot, it's going to be even difficult to get the connectors off to go through the step-by-step series of instructions with your voltmeter and ohm meter because of where they put the darn thing. I can test the switch. I know I can pull that off and play with that a little bit, but that being the dial switch, it's like a dimmer switch, as you know. So there's my problem. What do you all know about this model car with that style air conditioning?
Yeah. Now, I will say that with a scan tool, the technician would be able to command that unit to move to hot and command it to move to cold. And he can tell if the command went out of the computer or if the computer looked at it and said, yes, I'm going to command that and sent the message. Now, what the scan tool won't do, though, is let you know for sure that actuator received that spot. And if the actuator didn't receive it, then, of course, it's not going to move anyway. But in more commonly than not, we don't run into too much wiring issues because the wiring to that is on the inside. So more common than not is the actuator has failed, need to be replaced. And, of course, that gives me an opportunity to mention Dorman Products right there because they are they make some great actuators to replace replacement assemblies, and they always try to make the actuators, or they do make the actuators stronger than the original one. They find out where the weak point was and they repair it. So it's going to be a high probability you're going to have a bad actuator. Now I'm going to mention one thing, James, that sometimes you can do with an actuator that's not working and it's worth a try. I don't on a regular basis recommend disconnecting the battery because when you do, you're creating voltage spikes and you're resetting a lot of other stuff you don't want to reset. Yeah. But when I'm trying to replace a problem and an item cost is kind of labor intensive like that one is to replace, then it's worth a shot is just disconnect the battery and let it set a little bit, and then connect it back. And sometimes that actuator may go through a reset procedure, because sometimes they forget recalibration. That's the word I was looking for, because they forget where they were at, and then doing that can make it recalibrate and go to working. So that's worth a try. Don't build up a lot of hope though, because every so often it works. Most of the time it don't.
Will the scan tool test that signals the command, that's done in a fashion of bypassing the dial on the dash? Does it bypass it?
Yes. The scan tool, of course, a long time ago, you used to cut your AC on, or you used to cut your heater on. Now, all you can do is request heat or request AC. Your computer decides on you if you're going to get it or not. And so what it does is it transfers the request from you, is the technician's able to request it from there. And if it can tell if the computer received the request, and if the computer said, okay, yeah, everything's good, I'm going to send a command to move that to heat, then you know that at least it interpreted what was there, what was coming in, and interpreted what was going out, and sent the command to go to move it to heat on an output. So, yes, it will bypass what those knobs are doing.
Yeah, more like a force command option pretty much on that for hot to cold, Yeah,
you can move it up or down, and also with the and you can see what the dials, I mean, if the dials are saying, hey, I want to go hot or want to go cold, you can tell that.
And if the scan tool command move the actuator, then we start looking at the unlikely event of wiring, or the possibly more likely event that I've got a dial on the dash that's not doing its job.
That is a possibility. Mm-hmm. And plus, there's charts on that we go to. Like if it won't do something, it might we might look it up in the computer and it say if you not getting a command, this is what you need to do. There's so many different cars, so many different wiring scenarios on vehicles that many times, instead of us knowing exactly what to do next, we look it up. We say, well, this is what it's doing, and the computer says, yes, you need to check voltage here, and follow a little chart, and then boom, it lets us know what's there. But yes, the answer to that question is that it could have to do with the control head itself.